so fired up. Gotta calm down. You're probably wondering why I'm so fired up right now. Well, this is my favorite albums of 2022 video spectacular. Congratulations on watching. And congratulations to everyone in 2022 who joined the Church of Elvis and Even More Latter-day Saints, which I'm the founder, pastor, spiritual advisor of. It took great courage to be a member here under mass surveillance from various governmental organizations, some SROs, self-regulated organizations, mass surveillance. Okay, it's expanding, the web's expanding. And you took the step to join and share my videos and like my videos, okay? Appreciate it. And I want to say thank you even to those who consistently thumbs down my videos, who left, unsubscribed to my channel. I want to say thank you too, because you know, in life we need reference points. And sometimes those reference points are of being a coward. And I want to thank you for being a coward. So, this video is very exciting. The tension around here, people are gossiping, talking around here. Now, there's a mood of joy for the holiday season around here, but also people want to know what I'm going to pick for my favorite albums of 2022. And I got to remind people consistently, I ain't going to miss. They're all bullseyes, okay? But I'm not a critic. I'm just a fan of music. I don't listen to enough new music to be a critic. There's other channels that will tell you their top 20, 25, 30, okay? I will never watch those videos entirely, but they're out there. Melon does a great job as being a critic. I'm just a fan, okay? And these choices, I'm gonna make it easy. I'm gonna organize it in a way where it's simple. My favorite jazz release of 2022, my favorite pop rock release of 2022, my favorite electronic, and my favorite reissue on vinyl, regardless of genre. And you'll be able to memorize these 4 albums, okay? And go to your holiday parties, Christmas, what have you, and just impress people with your knowledge. Be able to pull it right off your prefrontal cortex and impress them with your presentation and deep knowledge of fantastic music. Now, I had liked all kinds of records in 2022. These are just some of my favorites, and I broke it down into categories. So, let's get into it. I'll start with jazz. My favorite jazz release of 2022. I'm going to start with jazz because I'm probably going to go the most sideways, the most in-depth out of all the releases. The other ones are pretty straightforward, which means I'm going to try to connect dots where dots don't exist. That's what I do. Now, it's a live recording of 2019 and 2021, but released in 2022. And that gap, as you can imagine, is COVID, lockdowns. And the group, even though they're touring musicians, they lost their residency for some period of time, for lack of a better description. But I'm talking about Jeff Parker, Mondays at the NFL Tennis Academy. My favorite jazz release of 2022. I absolutely love this record. Jeff Parker is a special guitarist, artist. He plays other instruments too. You might know him from other groups like Tortoise and other projects, but he really was starting to pop up on the radar of jazz fans, independent of them knowing, other people knowing those other projects and groups, leading in 2019. His solo stuff leading up to this was really, really good. And this is just further enhances that. But he has this way of playing where you can really, if you struggle with guitar and play guitar like I do, there's a tinge of jealousy when you listen to him. You can't help it. He has this mathematical, logical approach, very, very smart, intellectual approach, but then this artistic side that is fluid. His ability to use repetition is so tasteful. It's just perfect at times. His use of space and time is really, really sophisticated. But mostly to me, his interaction with other musicians, he is a very sympathetic player. And the way he interacts with other musicians, particularly the alto sax player Josh Johnson, and the bass player who is Anna Butters, if I'm pronouncing her name correctly, she is a phenomenal bass player. His interactions with them is incredible. There are very few modern jazz musicians I listen to right now that interact as well with other musicians than Jeff Parker. Now, the Enfield Tennis Academy is a bar in Los Angeles known as ETA, and they actually just played there like 3 nights ago. Enfield Tennis Academy is a fictional tennis academy in David Foster Wallace's Infinite Jest, his masterpiece. And there's a lot of things that I wish David Foster Wallace was around to see right now. I don't know how he would feel about a bar being named after a tennis academy full of desperation and addiction and pursuit of perfection. I don't know how you'd feel about that. I would love to see what he would comment about social media and cryptocurrencies and things like that. It'd probably drive him mad, but he would have something interesting to say about it. So it's pretty interesting. But the other thing David Foster Wallace does in this book, that this record does, particularly when he talks about AA meetings in Boston, and the different sections and factions, types of meetings in the area. He is masterful about his droning and repetition. On and on and on he describes these scenes to the point where you will never, unless you go to meetings, and I don't go to meetings, but I know people that do, unless you go there, you really don't know the experience. But David Foster Wallace, the way he describes AA meetings over and over and over and drones on and picks his spots where to repeat certain aspects, makes you feel the existential need for those who need them, and maybe the day-to-day aspect where they are vital to your life, how important. And the grind at times getting through this book, particularly when he's talking about the AA aspect of this book, the talent is just, it's ludicrous how good it is. And it's almost like a trance that you feel that you're a part of this group. There's few writers like him that ever existed. Now, this similarly picks its spots, adding drones and loops and the interactions and the repetitions and the improvisational aspects leading to those interactions of loops and repetitions to get there is so bloody rewarding. It is an absolutely enjoyable trance-like listen at times, but also really sophisticated where you can interact with it and really pick out spots where you see the musicians turn, you see them flip the script on each other, and they do it so elegantly. Now, by no means is this an audiophile record. You feel it's a small bar where they play, but you feel that space. You feel a background, almost white noise that really contributes to the performance, but it's quiet, it's intimate, it's really, really enjoyable, and I highly recommend it. Now, I don't think you can stream it. I think you can only stream it on YouTube, but it is my jazz release of 2022, Jeff Parker, Mondays at the Enfield Tennis Academy. I can't recommend it enough. Really, really great work. My favorite pop rock record of 2022. And I'm going to be upfront here. When it comes to this category, I'm a casual, okay? I'm not shooting for perfection. I'm pretty laid back when it comes to my pop/rock. Now, am I susceptible or nostalgic for certain sounds or certain vibes, as anyone can be at certain years of their lives? Of course. But I thought about what record in this category did I listen to more and more, and even though just pop music or rock music, that engaged me deeper and deeper the more I listened to it and kept spinning it over and over. And that would be Canada's Always. Shout out Rachel's Ghost. Blue Rev. I believe their 4th effort. Excellent title name, if I don't say so myself. There's a significant gap between their 3rd and 4th release, which with COVID and lineup changes, that will do it. But this might be their strongest release yet. And their first record is really, really good. So their progression has been really, really impressive. If you haven't heard of Always, to me, I like to think up these ludicrous scenarios. Always to me is if Phil Spector produced My Bloody Valentine and told Kevin Shields, you will never, ever step near a microphone in your life. And Kevin Shields being scared to death of Phil Spector, as one should be. Doesn't. That's what always is. It has these pop sensibilities. Molly Rankin, I'll put her up here. Fantastic guitarist, beautiful voice. It has that fantastic pop, but that art noise, those noisy wall of angry guitars that are just phenomenal. That, to me, is the hook. Because I like noise and I like pop. And when you can put them together really well, like something like My Bloody Valentine, you have me. But it doesn't feel dated. It doesn't feel like shoegaze dated music. It feels contemporary. It feels modern. And Molly's really, really special because I think her secret weapon isn't her angelic voice per se, which is beautiful. It's her ability to take a melody down, lower in key, where you don't expect it. And that's the hook to me. She really, really is smart. The way she arranges these songs and composes them. Really, really special talent. And I highly recommend this. Even if you're not a big fan of shoegaze and those type of things, this sounds contemporary and you'll absolutely love it. Blue Rev by Always is my pop rock record, favorite record of 2022. My favorite electronic album of 2022. And I should qualify this. This is the thinnest market out of all the categories. And what I mean by that, the least amount of new music I've listened to this year is in electronic music. But I love electronic music. And I'll probably at the end of this video go into YouTube and type best new electronic music 2022. I'm just not hip to it as much as I would like to be. But of what I listen to, my favorite is Sons of, Sam Prekop and John McEntire, Thrill Jockey label. As you can guess, it's not on vinyl. And I did a video on this album months ago, and Thrill Jockey emailed me back and said, it's coming. Vinyl's still a pain in the ass for certain independent labels when you're being front-run by Taylor Swift. It's difficult to get your product on vinyl when you want it. But it is coming, they said. So I'm excited about that. But in the meantime, I stream it all the time. And these two guys are long-term bandmates in a band I love called The Scene Cake. So this was done from, it's a long time in the making. This is some live performances, and then COVID hit, and they just started bouncing off ideas, emailing back and forth as they produce this from their studios, modular synthesizers in their studios. And it really has an improvisational vibe and a collaborative vibe. It's accessible, it's not too crazy. It's kind of like Journey, epic Journey electronic music, which I'm a sucker for and love. It's accessible, it's not crazy, but it's really, really enjoyable. I think it's novel, it's fun. It's by far my favorite electronic album, and I'm a big fan of both of these people individually. In fact, Prekop has his own electronic stuff, which is really good too. So it's really cool to see him do it with a bandmate like McEntire. So Sons of, my favorite electronic record of 2022. You'll really enjoy it. Much like reissues try to recreate something from the past, I, myself, am trying to recreate something from the past. Because when I went to go upload this abomination of a video, my microphone went out during the Best Reissue of 2022 segment, regardless of genre. So we're redoing it. Put the goddamn sweater back on and the lights, and we're going to give it a go. But if you follow this channel, you probably can guess what my 2022 reissue of the year is, regardless of genre. When the calendars came out from labels about reissues, this is the one I was most hyped about. This is the one I was most excited about. And numerous people have already talked about it. I don't think it's as rare as people think. I think the condition is an issue, and I've had mixed results with this. But of course, I'm talking about Pharoah Sanders' Karma, my reissue of the year 2022. Absolutely amazing. The OGs are good, if you can get a minty one. I don't have a minty one, but this is phenomenal. And when Chatty Cakes announced that he was doing this, I think everyone was surprised. He himself seems surprised. He releases music that he listens to, and it's been a great business model for him. Music he likes. And multiple streams, this isn't his cup of tea. And he was kind of like, we'll see how it sells. From a small sample size, I hear it selling out big time, which is good news. Because when it comes to special music like this, and this album is special, it's 5-star. It is a remarkable work. I like having the package. I like having the Staunton jackets. I like having the beautiful gatefold. It's like having a relic, okay? A new old stock. And I don't need that for every reissue, but I do like it for special ones. And this is special. And to me, there's a bias here because no musician, a man or a woman, music that I listen to hits me like Pharoah Sanders. There's just something about his tone that feels like life. We talk about the spiritual aspect, the cosmic aspect of jazz and spiritual jazz back then and so forth. This was the real deal. His music feels like the trials and tribulations, the ebb and pull, the pain, the joy of life. He's really, really special. And a million years ago, I don't know if you remember a band called Rocket from the Crypt. Before they went on, I had a conversation with one of the band members, and we talked about Pharoah Sanders. And almost the religious feeling that you get. And it makes sense. But it feels real. It feels like an experience when you listen to this man. And of course, we lost him this year. And we got that Floating Points collaboration, which is great too. But this, to me, to be able to get it the way Acoustic Sounds can do something, it just meant the world to be able to get this. And the remaster is fantastic. It's absolutely fantastic. It doesn't mean that the OGs aren't great. They are. But the ability to get this in this kind of new old stock version is, I think, cool and well worth the money. And I hope it's a good things to come from groups like Acoustic Sounds to do a little bit more avant-garde, a little more of the spiritual side, because I'm a big fan. So this is Pharoah Sanders Karma, my 2022 reissue of the year. Shouldn't surprise anyone. Have a great Christmas, holiday, Hanukkah. Hope everyone's doing well, and we'll see you in 2023.